No trouble tonight, right? Just give me an excuse. Just give me an excuse.
Keep that weapon holstered, sir. We've had enough action for one night. Have a good night, sir. Have a good night, sir.
I, for one, approve of these protests. These Lim people are drug pushers. Someone is getting rich while the rest of us are suffering.
I wouldn't know about those things. All I know is that this violence doesn't serve anyone.
Well, I guess the question now becomes, will the pro-human groups retaliate when Bill Taggart gets here?
He's that Humanity Front guy, right?
He's speaking at the convention center in a few days.
Ugh, that's gonna be a day from hell.
You look like you're built for trouble. Listen, just because you have money doesn't make you better than me. Listen, just because you have money
bud. The
doesn't
protest
make
broke
you
up
better
hours
than me.
ago. There's nothing to see here anymore. I'm sure the evening news will tell you everything you want to know. I'm sure the evening news will tell you everything you want to know.
Nice night for a walk. But you might want to stay on a derelict road, knowing how the local gang feels about people with enhancements. We don't want to have to go in there and find you. Have a good evening.
These limb riots are being organized by the government. They want an excuse to exact martial law and split this country up.
Keep it down, pal. People are on the edge right now, and we don't want any more trouble.
What will you say when you're kidnapped by a bunch of augmented soldiers and put in a concentration camp?
I haven't put much thought into it, okay?
Haven't you heard of REX 84? FEMA is setting up camps right here in Detroit.
Yeah, and Stevie Y is actually a 600-year-old vampire. This augmentation debate is bringing all the crazies out. Back away, buddy. I don't want any trouble here. Back away, buddy. I don't want any trouble here.
This is just the first step in the plan. One day they will use our fears to control us all. One day they will use our fears to control us all.
I'm trying to remind people that the only way they can get in touch with me is my online interactive streaming. We'll stream you through and answer your questions as best we can, but don't get your panties in a bunch we get hung up on. If we detect even the slightest suspicious fluctuation in signals, we have to shut down. The World Order and their team of expert hackers could be trying to track us. And that's why we have to create a covert host site for every new stream and then shut it down immediately once the call's over. I'm sitting here, just me and my techie Steve in a sweaty, clammy, claustrophobic van, tossing digipads out in the trash left and right in order to bring you this show via satellite. But I'm good with it. I'm good with it because I understand the reality of living in a slave state. You can bet they'll keep trying to shut us down, but I won't stop, followers. I will not stop until there is a full-scale revolt in progress. You hear what I'm saying, people? You okay, Steve? Good.
Show some love for your fellow man. This is just the first step in the plan.
If I can get out of work for a day or two, then yes. Okay, goodbye.
I'd stay off the streets near D Row if I were you, mister. The DRBs keep an eye on everyone. Walking above ground, that is. Heard a few augmented city workers doing maintenance on the sewers got into their territory?
Hello?
Man, it was a bloodbath. Even the police won't go near D Row.
I can't believe you
Heard a
said
few
that.
augmented city workers doing maintenance on the sewers got into their territory? Man, it was a bloodbath.
There is
Even
no
the police
way.
won't go
Believe
near
me,
D
I've
Row.
tried. Bye-bye. The good Lord made you in His own image. Why would you desecrate yourself? Don't you realize that the only thing you need in this world is His love? Don't you Hello, who is it? It must have been pretty bad, right? I know you've been there before. I'll see you later.
Welcome to the Detroit Automated Information Network, including directory assistance,
Mr. Jensen, David Seraph told me you'd be dropping by. I've just been reviewing the test results we received on you last week.
Should I start rolling up my sleeves?
Surprisingly, no. I see no trace of glial tissue buildup in any of your charts.
It's been 6 months, Doc. Shouldn't I be on neuropozyne shots by now?
One would think, but these test results show no signs of implant rejection. If anything, the bond between tissue and electrodes seems to be getting stronger.
So I'm free to go?
Well, Mr. Seraph did ask me to discuss another topic with you. You are aware that several precautionary measures had to be put into place during your first surgery?
Not all of my implants were switched on, I know.
The damage caused by the hematoma had to be taken into account. Your brain needed time to recover, to get used to the mechanical neural processors and turn them on naturally over time.
Cut to the chase, Doc. What does Seraph want?
He feels that you might be ready to speed up the activation process using special software known as Praxis Kits.
You mean I don't have to wait for my augmentations to kick in naturally anymore?
You can, if you prefer. But Mr. Seraph did make a generous donation to LIM in your name, thus ensuring that Praxis software linked to your particular neuro enhancements would always be available to you and you alone. Please, take a look.
Dr. LeBlanc, code blue. Dr. LeBlanc, code blue.
Very well, Mr. Jensen. Use it in good health.
Nice jacket. I bet you're hiding some real cutting-edge enhancements under it, aren't you? My ex-boyfriend was a pro-human purist. The bastard. Dumped his ass as soon as I figured out what he was.
Dr. Teasdale to X-ray. Dr. Teasdale to X-ray.
My ex-boyfriend was a pro-human purist. The bastard. Dumped his ass as soon as I figured out what he was.
We're very lucky to have Dr. Markovic. She could have gotten a job in private practice anywhere in the world. Say, haven't I seen you on TV? Say, haven't I seen you on TV?
I'm just here to get my prescription updated. Ran out of neuropozyne last week. Thought I could just order up a refill, but I have to see a doctor first. Maybe one day they'll find a way to prevent implant rejections once and for all. Maybe one day they'll find a way to prevent implant rejections once and for all.
I really don't see what all the fuss is about AUGs. It's just progress. Stand still and you get left behind, know what I mean? Stand still and you get left behind, know what I mean?
You've got to look at augmentation surgery as an investment. I would kill to work at a place that had an augmentation subsidy policy. I would kill to work at a place that had an augmentation subsidy policy.
Dr. Tepkowski to OR. Dr. Tepkowski to OR.
Nice jacket. I bet you're hiding some real cutting-edge enhancements under it, aren't you? My ex-boyfriend was a pro-human purist. The bastard. Dumped his ass as soon as I figured out what he was.
Did you hear about the protest? If we listened to them, we'd be living in the dark ages. They're just afraid of what they don't understand. That leads to self-protection, and defense always evolves into offense. Always. They're just afraid of what they don't understand. That leads to self-protection, and defense always evolves into offense. Always.
I've never been under anesthesia before. Is it true they stop your heart and the machine does your breathing?
More or less. I know it sounds a little hair-raising, but we do it every day, several times over. It's a very safe procedure.
Will I feel any pain or anything?
It gets done through your IV needle. You'll be asked to count backwards, and the next thing you know, you'll be opening your eyes and the procedure will be over.
Wow. Will I dream?
Not while you're under, but you might afterward as you wake up.
Wow. Sorry, I was just looking at that scar on your head. Did you get that before or after the surgery? This is my first visit. I'm a little nervous. This is my first visit. I'm a little nervous.
If you're here for some work, please go to the counters. If you're here for some work, please go to the counters.
Wow. Sorry, I was just looking at that.
My first surgery. It's expensive, but you gotta look at it as an investment in the future. My first surgery. It's expensive, but you gotta look at it.
Enhancers are the next step, bro.
I know that.
God's amongst.
But some of those guys were carrying tire irons and setting garbage cans on fire.
And those were the ones we arrested. The rest were merely exercising their right to free speech.
What about my right to come to work each day without fearing for my life? I've still got to walk home tonight.
I understand your concern. But if you want round-the-clock protection, I suggest you hire a private security company. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of something. If you saw what happened and want to make a report, drop by the precinct. If you saw what happened and want to make a report, drop by the precinct.
Did you get that before or after the surgery?
In a few years, we'll all wonder how we got along before enhancing. Enhancers are the next step, bro. God's amongst men. In a few years, we'll all wonder how we got along before enhancing. In a few years, we'll all wonder how we got along before enhancing.
Go on in. We're still open. It's going to take more than a noisy rabble to close us down. It's going to take more than a noisy rabble to close us down.
People see conspiracies everywhere. They're saying that Lim's personal catalogs mean some people get preferential treatment. Please. Lim are the good guys. They believe in equality, unlike everybody else. Lim are the good guys. They believe in equality, unlike everybody else.
Adam, are you finished at the clinic?
For now.
Good. Right now I want to know who that corpse is. Head over to the police station and get his neural hub. And Adam, if you can't talk your way in, consider making a strategic retreat. There's gotta be another entrance in the side of the building.
Hello there. Well, you must be Adam Jensen.
A keen observation.
Mrs. Reed told me you might pay me a visit. And don't take this the wrong way, but you're kind of hard to miss.
I'll try to take that as a compliment. She told me you might have information regarding Megan Reed's case and the attack on Seraph headquarters.
Oh boy, what a mess. Total pissing match. We had the feds on our ass, orders from 3 different departments, and pressure from so many lobbyists it felt like being the scrawny new kid in a prison shower.
It is a very high-profile case. Mrs. Reed said you thought some procedures were overlooked.
You got that right. I mean, you know how it is. Mrs. Reed told me you used to be a cop. There's always cases where you see the lazy officers taking shortcuts. But this was different.
Different how?
Too much stuff got overlooked. People seemed way too eager to jump to conclusions, and every time I was remotely insistent, I got turned down by ranking officers. People wanted to bury this thing fast. That's never a good sign.
Surely you have something more substantial than this.
Yeah, well, that's where you come in. I got a couple of leads I could never fully investigate. I started poking around, but these government-type agents just gave me the creeps. I got scared. Months away from retirement, I didn't want to fuck things up. But you obviously have the means to get to the bottom of this.
So what have you got?
First off, there's a rumor that the order to close the investigation came from higher up, maybe even outside the local department. Anything like that would have passed through Captain Penn. There might be traces of this left on his office computer.
Guess I'll have to pay a visit to the local precinct.
Well, while you're there was an officer assigned to the case, Chet Wagner. He's not what you call a choir boy. And when he suddenly got brought on the case, I got suspicious. Somebody wanted him there. And I'm pretty sure he tampered with some of the evidence. You should talk to him. Find out what he knows.
Okay, I'll have a little chat with Officer Wagner.
You'll most likely find him in the lobby. He got retrograded from his conduct, and he takes depositions now. He won't budge easily, but I'm pretty sure you can find some dirt on him on his desktop. His office is on the 3rd floor. You might find something there to help loosen up his tongue.
Anything else worth looking into?
Yeah, when the order came down to close the case, the bulk of the evidence was stashed in a storage locker. Maybe you can find some interesting stuff in there. It's on the alley right next to the station. The code is 4891. But I know an outside agency had access to that locker, so be careful.
Thanks for the heads up.
It's nothing. And, please, don't bother coming back here with details. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to help. But the less I know about this case, the better I'll feel.
You said an outside agency may have tampered with the storage locker. What did you mean by that?
Well, I've heard that government agents may have locked up some of the more sensitive evidence in a safe inside the locker.
Come on, Chase. What are you not telling me?
Damn it! Okay, listen. I snooped around that locker before and found the safe code. But I kinda got caught by one of those guys. He knows I know, Jensen. If I give you the code, they'll know I talked. Call me negative, but I can't think of a nice outcome to that.
Why retire from the force only to become a security guard? I mean, it looks like you still love the work.
I love the idea of being a cop. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to join the force. But I just got fed up. It's not like I had imagined it. It's a job. Some people are good at it, while others just don't care. And it shows. This case, the Seraph case, it was just the last drop in a cup already full.
How did you get assigned to this case?
I didn't push for it, if that's what you mean. To be honest, I didn't want to get involved.
Why not?
I was an honest cop, Jensen. I always tried to conduct myself in accordance with the law, with procedures, and what I believed was right. Not really the standard MO for a case like this.
That's all I need for now.
I can never thank you enough for what you did.
I hope you did the right thing letting that extremist go like that. I guess time will tell.
Thank God it's all over now. Thank God it's all over now.
Welcome. I'm glad you came. I can never properly repay you for what you did, of course, but I would like to help out any way I can.
What'd you have in mind?
There's a gentleman named Sarah who works in the area. His business causes him to move around quite a bit, but at the moment he's occupying an apartment in a building on Earl's Court. If you mention my name, he'll give you a discount on his wares. He deals in, well, he's a gun runner.
How does a guy like you know someone like that?
Growing up in my old neighborhood, you learn pretty quick to cultivate certain types of relationships. You'll remember his name, won't you? Sarah, like the painter. I don't care what some of the other folk at the office say about you. You're okay in my book. I don't care what some of the other folk at the office say about you. You're okay in my book.
Access granted.
Look at you, man. Another sucker who bought a bunch of crap you never really needed.
Throw him in the ring.
Dogmentation?
Yeah, word. We should, what do you call that? Register. Patent.
Copyright.
Yeah, copyright. Let's copyright that shit. Dogmentation. Yo, we gotta be rich, man.
You're gonna be obsolete someday, my brother. You're gonna be obsolete someday, my brother.
Don't be listening in to me and my crew, man. Somebody might think you're a narc. You heard me. Get lost before I make you get lost. You heard me. Get lost before I make you get lost.
Ain't it kind of late for someone like you to be using these alleys? Downtown ain't safe for pretty boys. Don't say I didn't warn ya, pretty boy. Don't say I didn't warn ya, pretty boy.
Word to the wise, handsome. Don't go straying too close to Derelict Row. Them crazies don't take well to enhancers. Seriously, even the cops don't go into that grease pit. Seriously, even the cops don't go into that grease pit.
This city is one big gutter and always will be.
You think this is bad? Wait till the UN passes that legislation thing. Detroit is gonna be one giant breadline.
That's what I've been saying. David Seraph ain't saved this city. He split it into the haves and have-nots.
Yeah, damn right. I've been limping for 10 years. Don't I got the right to get enhanced? No. And even if I did, how the hell am I gonna afford that drug? Neuropupazine.
Neuropazine.
Whatever. Gotta pay up the ass for that one. I broke my leg 10 years ago and it ain't never really healed. I guess I have to live with it since I'll never be able to buy me an AUG. You got any whiskey on you? You got any whiskey on you?
Hey, pal. You got change in that fancy coat of yours? This city is a dump, and David Sarah can go to hell. This city is a dump, and David Sarah can go to hell.
Access granted. Access granted.